All right, everyone, the protesters over in Hong Kong have actually won a victory. It's only part of what they've been demanding, or at least asking for, of the Hong Kong government. But the much-hated extradition bill that they were trying to push through that would have allowed basically mainland China to take people from Hong Kong and charge them with wrongthink and bring them into China to face, the gulag or the death penalty or cracking rocks apart in the salt mine, that bill is dead now. So that's definitely a victory. It shows that with months and months of concerted effort, through various means, you can actually prevent the government from completely tyrannizing you. If only the people in Hong Kong had the Second Amendment, it wouldn't have taken 3 months. Here's the thing. They've got other demands. Hong Kong doesn't magically become like highly democratic and extremely respectful of human rights. It's basically a vassal of China with some British involvement, and that's basically all it is. Other than that, basically this just says that the Chinese communists have to operate through a proxy regime in Hong Kong anyway. That's basically all it means. So it's kind of a hollow victory. And the protesters are going home. They've got other demands anyway. I think they've got 5 total, and this was like the major one. This is what started some of the more large-scale protests. But they've been going on anyway. That's just part of it. And so hopefully the protests continue. What they should do is, there should be a mass strike, and they should refuse to work until the government, it becomes a democracy or whatever, if that's really what they want. They want basically... Some of them are calling for the British government to grant a citizenship, basically, to all citizens of Hong Kong. Basically say, well, you were involved here, and now you're basically like, daddy goes away, and now evil, drunken, mommy, communist China's abusing us, so you've got to get involved again. Basically, sort of that sort of dispute. Yeah, I mean, the UK can absorb the population of Hong Kong entirely, and it wouldn't even really matter, so why not? It seems like the UK would rather take people from anywhere else in the world other than the places where they would actually have some sort of civic connectedness. It's like a really weird, uniquely British thing when that happens. That would work. I think, weren't there people in Australia saying that? And then, of course, fuck off where full kicked in. Why don't we do that here? Why doesn't the U.S. just grandstand on the issue and say, oh, don't worry, if you're in Hong Kong and your government sells you out to communistdom, don't worry, you can always come over here. We'll grant you some sort of residency or something. Why don't we do that? It'd be an interesting idea. Well, it's a first world country, highly literate, hardworking people. I don't really see the problem, I guess. But the extradition bill is gone. I think the big problem is, now that one of their goals has been achieved, some people for whom that was the only main goal, or at least the major goal, they might go home, they might stop protesting, which means that the rest of their demands wither on the vine, the government goes back to business as normal, then things go back to their kinda sorta tyranny mode, where China has undue influence and operates with impunity, but there's still this like semi-legal, kinda separate, sorta legal structure, and that's sort of all that you get. So it's a democracy in name only. By the way, we shouldn't use the term democracy in the direct democracy sense. We're talking, of course, a representative system in which the people fundamentally have some degree of representation and some degree of latitude in their actions. Yeah, it's a sad situation. It's a sad situation where you make 5 demands, you get one of them, and unfortunately, some of those people will feel better and go home. They should keep the protests up. In fact, they should turn up the ante even more. Turn up the heat even more. At that point. The U.S. and the rest of the West, if we want to stand for everything, for anything, we should make it at the very least clear that we're going to stand against authoritarian regimes. That's what we should be doing. You don't need to fire a shot. You don't need war and interventionism. Just a welcome in those that are being abused, that have shown that they want to be part of a system in which people are capable of being individual actors, and have a representative government, be left alone, and be able to do what they want to do and say what they want to say. By the way, and no shit, in related news, speaking of communist China, I might as well throw this into this particular video. There are measures now being looked into. The idea of taking like Amazon, Alexa, and Google and shit like that and combing through people's digital footprint to sort of see if they might go psycho and to maybe deny them gun sales accordingly. Massively unconstitutional, technologically unworkable, an untenable position. The idea that Trump is actually going to sign off on such a thing is ludicrous. It's not going to happen. The NRA will have a chat with him and say, well, you do realize that this would basically be the honeymoon's over moment for the Republican Party at large if they were ever to sign on to something like this. Be an interesting day. The NRA sides with the Greens, maybe. The hippies take up arms to defend the tree frogs, and the NRA ends up becoming an arm of the Green movement. I hope I live to see the day of such political upheaval. Did you ever think Donald Trump would be the president? So it could happen. Crazier things happen all the time now. It's good the extradition bill is dead, to be clear and back on subject. But there are other things that need to be accomplished. Hong Kong is still basically this vassal that's only semi-autonomous anyway. It's not really autonomous at all. If China wants, it would take them 10 minutes to conquer Hong Kong. It would be that quick. You've got a disarmed population with overwhelming manpower and superiority drawn right up next to it. Hong Kong doesn't have the ability to fight back. The time to act, by the way, for the West is now. We should already extend an invitation to the people of Hong Kong and say, look, if things go bad, you can come here. We'll just grant you dual residency, or we'll grant some sort of special status to people from Hong Kong and make it clear that we oppose the Chinese government and its communistic ways. And we should oppose communism. Communism sucks. That's why everyone kicks communism back out wherever it's implemented in due time. But remember, if you talk to a real communist, it's never actually been tried. Such a fucking loser system, they can't even get people to adopt it the right way. It's really that ignorant. That's about all. Peace out.